Hello and welcome to Figurative Language Part 2. I hope you enjoyed Figurative Language Part 1 and we're going to add to your skills now with 4 other sections. So let's learn about onomatopoeia, alliteration, hyperbole and idioms. So have a think, what is onomatopoeia? So here you're going to see a definition for onomatopoeia. So onomatopoeia is where a word imitates or copies the sound that it describes. For example, buzz, hiss, drip, and bang. Now, we're going to match the onomatopoeic word to the group type. So on the left, you'll see some blue words popping up, water, collisions and voices, they're the group. And then on the right, you'll see some red words. And see if you can match those 6 to the 3 group types. And just a clue, there's 2 red words for a blue word. Okay. How did you do? So for water, we have drizzle and splash. For collisions, we have thud and clink. For voices, we have growl and chatter. So if you're writing about something to do with water, you could use an onomatopoeic word, drizzle, splash, to give a stronger impression in your writing. If you're talking about some sort of collision, so somebody dropping something or something banging together, you could use thud or clink. And if you're trying to describe characters and you want to add depth to their character, you might say that they chatter or that they growl, which would suggest growling is quite an angry sound, and chatter might be an incessant chatter, might be quite annoying to people. Okay, let's have a look. So this is your chance to have a go. So once I've read out everything on the screen, if you press pause, which is the onomatopoeic word in these sentences? I'll wait till they come all up on the screen and I'll read them out. So number 1, jingling merrily, the bells rang across the valley. Number 2, the smell of freshly baked cake wafted past his nose. Number 3, spluttering fiercely, the car eventually made it up the steep hill. And number 4, what is that? Gasped Amma. Okay, so if you pause and see if you can identify the onomatopoeic word. Okay, how did you do? So for number 1, yep, you're correct. Jingling is the onomatopoeic word. Merrily, the bells rang across the valley. I thought maybe some people might choose the word rang, so the verb rang, but that doesn't have an onomatopoeic sound. Number 2, the smell of freshly baked cake wafted past his nose. That's the onomatopoeic word. Number 3, spluttering fiercely. The car eventually made it up the steep hill. Spluttering is the onomatopoeic word. And for number 4, Amma gasped. That's the onomatopoeic word. Okay, another chance to have a go. So I'll read everything on the screen and then you can pause. Depending on the onomatopoeic word that you choose, it can change the meaning of the sentence. So you have to choose them really carefully. So these sentences are going to have a different meaning depending on the word that you choose. Number 1, the object fell with a clatter, the object fell with a rustle, and the object fell with a smash. So I'd like you to pause the screen, have a think about the change in meaning, and then I'll describe it. Okay, how did you do? So number one, the object fell with a clatter. So I'll just tick this one off so we know we've done this one. So if something falls with a clatter, it's an uncomfortable sound. It hasn't broken the object, or else it might say something different. And it means that people around this situation will have heard this sound. The object fell with a rustle. It suggests something soft, something light, maybe something crinkly. It could be a crisp packet. It could be some leaves. And then number three, the object fell with a smash. That suggests that something's broken, so perhaps glass. When you're writing, you can use onomatopoeic words to suggest a situation. So if you want to suggest that some glass in a house has smashed, maybe a window's been smashed, this will build up a better picture in the person's mind. Okay, let's move on to alliteration. So what is alliteration? So here's the definition that's come up on the screen. Alliteration is using a series of words beginning with the same consonant sound. Alliteration can add interest or humour. So the bee buzzed busily in the flower bed, and laughing loudly, the lady from London drove away. And you can clearly see the repetition, B, 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 B in the first sentence, and L, 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 well, laughing loudly, lady, London. Alliteration is really useful if you have to come up with character names, and they stick in your reader's mind better than if you don't use them. Malevolent Mick, frustrating Frida, and angry Anna. And if you think about Harry Potter, moaning Myrtle, all the great authors use this technique. Okay, so your chance to have a go. I'll read out what's on the screen and then you can pause. Can you think of an alliterative sentence for these topics? So the boat and the fox. So if you think of words beginning with the sound, and for the fox, the sound. So pause the screen. Okay. How did you do? Everybody's sentences are going to be different. I'd be surprised if we all got the same one. Okay, so my example is bouncing beautifully on the clear water. Sam's blue boat was breathtaking. So there you have 5 different words that are onomatopoeic. For B, the fox, fiendishly frolicking in the ferny forest, the fanciful fox looked for food. And our next section, hyperbole. So the definition for hyperbole is a technique to exaggerate a situation. For example, I've told you 1,000,000 times not to do that, and I've got a ton of homework to do today. The one I'm ticking now, as a parent, I probably say that quite a lot. And for number 2, students might say that a lot. So the one that the parents might say, I've told you 1,000,000 times not to do that, it suggests frustration. I've lost count the number of times. And for students, I've got a ton of homework. It means they're feeling the weight of the situation. They feel like they have too much. Extreme language is used to create a strong impression in your reader's mind. For example, this is the happiest place on earth. You'd imagine somewhere that's so wonderful you wouldn't want to go anywhere else. Okay, a little bit more on hyperbole. You must remember that hyperbole isn't actually possible. So it's so exaggerated that we know that it's not true. For example, if I have to take another test, I will die. Not literally possible. Okay, you try. So I'll read out what's on the screen, and then if you pause. So try this hyperbole in sentences of your own. There are 6 different types. Years to finish, in 2 seconds, dying of laughter, eat a horse, in ages, and never stops talking. How did you do? This painting will take me years to finish, suggesting that it's going to take a long time. Number 2, it will only take me 2 seconds. It means it will only take a brief moment. She was dying of laughter. She was laughing so much, it felt like she was going to maybe fall apart. They were so hungry that they could eat a horse. Means they're so hungry they could eat something as big as a horse. I haven't been there in ages suggests that you haven't been there in a long time. And he never stops talking. Of course he stops talking, he goes to sleep. Okay, let's move on to idioms. So the definition for idioms has just popped up on the screen. Idioms are expressions that are common to a language. So if you move from one country to another, the idioms could be different and not easily understood. Okay, so some examples have popped up on the screen. The first one, I go there once in a blue moon, means I don't go there very often. And it's raining cats and dogs, it means it's raining very heavily. Idioms can't be worked out by looking at the individual words. So if you look at a blue moon, that wouldn't tell you the idiom. You'd have to learn the idiom. If you look at cats and dogs, that doesn't tell you what the idiom means, so you have to learn the idiom. I made a beeline for the sweet shop. By looking at beeline, you don't know what that means, so you have to learn the idiom. It's learnt phrasing for a language. Okay, I'll read out what's on the screen and you can have a go. Can you match the idiom to the correct meaning? So on the left, we've got the black idioms, and then on the right, we have mixed up green meanings. Okay, so we've got, I'm on the fence, let's hit the road, fingers crossed, it's a piece of cake, break a leg, and they hit the sack. Okay, so pause the screen. How did you do? So I'm on the fence means I'm not sure. Let's hit the road means it's time to leave. Fingers crossed means I'm hopeful. It's a piece of cake means it's so easy. Break a leg means good luck. They hit the sack means they went to bed. Thanks very much. See you next time.